Happy Thanksgiving and welcome to this week's episode 34 of the Austin Downbeat. I'm Kat, your host. I hope that you are already smelling pumpkin pie and apple pie and turkey and getting ready for a holiday season with your friends and family. This week we have a wonderful show for you. First, we're going to start with the rundown. There's a lot, so I have it written down. Today is Tuesday, November 22nd, and my guest on the show is Scott Collins, and he's the first one on the rundown. Scott Collins is at ABIA, which is our airport, which is a pretty cool place to play shows now, which is so cool. James McMurtry is at the Continental Club tonight. Shooks is at Hotel Vegas. Wednesday night, you have Dan Whitaker at the White Horse. That's a great place to go and do the dance lessons and then go stay for that type of music that you have the dance lessons for. I love the White Horse. Slade Cleaves is at the Saxon Pub Thursday at the 24th. So this is Thanksgiving. So yes, it's a day for family, but we eat early and then I know we all get antsy and we want to go out. At least that's usually how it's always been for me. So Patrice Pike is at the Saxon Pub. Dale Watson is at the Continental Club. And be sure to look around. There might be other people playing. That's all I could find for the moment. Friday and Saturday are insane with how many people are playing. So listen up. Friday, November 25th, Garrett J. Brown is at the Celis Brewery. Eric Betancourt is at Treaty Oak. That's an awesome place to see music. AJ Vallejo is at Angel's Ice House. Bree Bagwell is at Saxon's Pub. Now on Saturday, we have Katrina Kane is playing at the Tacovas on South Congress. The Drakes are at Seaboys. Bob Schneider is at the ACL Live Moody. Ray Prim is at the Saxon. Slow Mo Drags is at Chess Club. Selfless Lovers at Continental Club. If you haven't seen them live, they are, I don't know how they have that much energy, especially Nick. Shout out to Nick. I don't know how much coffee you have, but you are incredibly energetic and so talented. Okay, Sunday, Barbara Nesbitt, Betty Sue, and Bonnie Whitmore are playing sessions on Mary. And then I have awesome news for you guys if you're still listening. Ben Jones is back. Yay! So Monday Night Supper Club at El Mercado South has Ben Jones, Pat Byrne, and Barbara Nesbitt. But also, Andrea McGee is at Seaboys. Bob Schneider is at Saxon Pub. And Dale Watson is at Continental Club. What are we going to do with so many options? Anyway, that's a good start for you. Get out there and see some live music. It's so important. It's good for everyone involved. Okay, let me tell you about my guest today, Scott Collins. You know, I get to talk to a lot of Austin's beloveds, and he is definitely one of them. So much so, in fact, that did you know that those of us that live in Austin have a Scott Collins Day? And it is 2 days after my birthday. So January 31st is Scott Collins Day here in Austin, Texas, which I thought was really, really cool. So much to say about this guy, but if you like it when I have conversations with people that are deep and vulnerable, then this is the kind for you. Yes, we talk about music. Yes, we talk about other stuff too, but there's something so special about this guy and how much of an open book he is, how much he just refuses to hide anything, and provides a lot of value, in my opinion, just talking about what it's like to be human. And he's just a big beating heart, in my opinion, and so talented. He has a new EP released this year called In the Burgundy. You should stop by Waterloo Records and pick up a copy and go see his big poster in the window. He has just become one of my favorites, and I'm so happy to have him on the show. Thanks to Johnny Gowdy for introducing us, and please enjoy my conversation with the wonderful Scott Collins. And happy Thanksgiving to you all. Mwah. All right. Welcome to the show, Scott Collins. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having us.
And we should say welcome to Reggie as well, who cannot
Reggie
hear
might be
me,
chilling.
but he's definitely in a nice position and posing for us.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I Reggie and I go way back, going up on 4 years now, and he's my road dog. He comes to shows with me, so I kind of can't well, as I was telling you, I have a recording studio in my house, rehearsal space, everything's cooking. So my musical bedroom is our best hideout, but also, like I said, he comes with me to everything.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah,
Well, I'm so
I couldn't
glad
do
that,
it without him.
yeah, I'm so glad that we connected. And I feel like Johnny Gowdy is, he should get a prize at the end of the year for as many people that he connects me with. But I met you at one of his shows. And so, and I knew about you. And so I was so happy to finally meet you in person there.
Yeah, that was great. That the it was Opal Divines. Yeah, and I'm doing that in December. It was awesome getting to meet you there, and then this opportunity. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. I'm so
Oh,
glad I decided to go support my friend and do that because that's where you meet everybody in this amazing community.
yeah, I think you make a really good point. And it's something that we talk about a lot here too. And I always make sure to talk about how we can best support our Austin musicians. And, one of the ways is definitely getting back out there and seeing live music, which, was kind of put on hold for a while, but just
Very
trying to
much, yeah.
help reinvigorate everybody to get back out there because you never know who you're going to see. Other musicians are supporting musicians, so it's not just a bunch of you know people that you don't know. I mean, I'm always running into people that have been on the show, want to be on the show, need to be on the show, or friends or whatever. So it's just such a
Oh, absolutely.
important thing, yeah, to get back out there. Hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And now that even in flu season with the if you flu shots and the vaccines, but masking up is normal in a way now, I think. So like without people getting shamed, I mean. So yeah, going to live music is a safe environment now. It's how
Yeah,
you conduct yourself. It just
yeah.
determines how you fare. But
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure, for sure. So you mentioned, and I don't want to skip over it. You're doing Opal Divines well, next month. Sounds weird to say next month for December, but
I
yeah.
know. Yeah,
Talk-
finally cold in Austin, like near a holiday. Yeah, December 15th, I'll be doing the live from Opal Divine show.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, for Co-op Radio.
Yeah, yeah. How fun. Cool. Well, I want to go back a little bit and just, for people that don't know you or don't know, much about you. Are you from Austin?
I was born in Chicago. I was raised in Austin. I moved here. It's either 92 or 93, but I clock it as when Home Alone 2 came out. So whenever Home Alone 2 came out, I moved from Austin oh, sorry, from Chicago to Austin, and then I went all the way through UT undergrad here, and ended up going to grad school in Dallas at SMU to get a master's in counseling psychology. And just two things. One, I put myself in outpatient rehab while I was studying. Also, I just realized my empathy wasn't worldly yet. Like it wasn't where it needed to be to dedicate myself to helping people. So I
Mm.
dropped out and went into music and lived in my car, and that brought me back to Austin, where I've now been in the music scene coming up like 12 years. But before that, I wasn't in it. I just always wanted to be so bad. Yeah, that's why I say I lived my dream, my first gig that
Yeah.
I ever played, because in that moment, everything was fulfilled. So I was like, well, from here, it's got to be now just what I put in is what I'll get out.
Wow. Can you talk a little bit about that first gig? I mean, to me,
Yeah.
there's such a chasm between who you were before stepping onto that stage and stepping up to that mic, literally, and then after. So talk a little bit about that. And you created that. This is fascinating to me because there's not many things that you can do that are so readily available in life. that can change you so quickly.
Yeah.
Stepping up to a mic is one of those things, at least in my opinion, it is. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely, because yeah, I felt it. I was literally faking it, fake it to make it.
Yeah.
At that point, I there was a folk singer, Amy Lovett, in Dallas, Fort Worth area that hired me as a guitar player because I could play a little guitar. It wasn't amazing, but I could play guitar. And I had gotten robbed while I was living in my car, so it left me with a very limited amount of instruments. So anyway, I faked it in, but that first show was at the not the Cavern, but the anyway, it was in Dallas. I'll remember it, but it was in Dallas opening for this really big band who had a huge following. They were letting her do three original songs to open for them. And there were three songs that I wrote on guitar that she then sang to. And yeah,
Mhm.
so it was my first time ever in front of audience, and it was on a big stage with a lot of people. I had to impress the cool older dudes at the time, and I got out there and my fingers flubbed a little bit, but it was freezing in the room, but I just did it and I didn't care, and I loved every second of it. And that's when I felt that like lightning bolt of this is it. I did it. I can't believe I've survived, let alone in here. And then the other band started complaining after their gig about everything, saying it was freezing and they could barely hold their guitar. It was freezing. And
Mhm.
yeah, I was like, I'm one of them. And I didn't even complain, but I'm
Yeah.
one of you now. And they're like, good job, kid. It's like, thank you. That was horrible, but thank you. So it worked out.
And
And then
that
I kept
was,
faking it until I was like, well, I need to teach myself how to write, how to sing and play at the same time because I was writing songs. I was like, I need to do this on my own.
mhm.
So I did that for a while until I got voice lessons when I really, really hit it. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that's so cool. Um, so um, talk a little bit about your studio because I know not only are you a musician and playing gigs and everything, but you also have a studio. Can you talk a little bit about that and that experience and when did you start doing that?
Yeah, totally. I never meant to this early in life. I started a label when I first started playing music in general. I started Sideshow Paradise Records, just an LLC to release all of my stuff under until someday I get picked up by a label or have. And so I started that, and it led to this opportunity to run a studio, build it. We hadn't even built it, excuse me, in South Austin on this beautiful acre property. And a friend of mine at the time was like, you need to meet this guy, Chet Himes. This was before he passed away. Absolute legend. Started out building studios and engineering with Christopher Cross, won Grammys and Academy Awards with him. And he was just a wonderful, wonderful guy. And he came in, he built the studio out of the remodeled 1959 house's media room. He built, so it was a garage converted to media room, then converted to a Chet Himes masterpiece studio. And in the
Mm.
back, he soundproofed that Shedsville, as he coined it, and we still say to this day, it's a rehearsal space and it's wonderful. But right now, Chris Frenchy Smith with the bubble that used to be up north, he has now moved into and rents the space here. Chet passed away a couple of years ago, but Frenchie's, yeah, I've worked with him from the very beginning of
Mm.
my like career of like getting stuff on the radio. So he's now here working in the studio as the bubble, and I'm just the landlord. Well, Reggie's the landlord. I'm the security. It's kind of backwards here.
I need to come visit.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, it's worth it just for this flop.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, and I'm gonna bring him to shows. If they let me bring him to the Opal Divines, like he'll come. He'll sleep when I play acoustic shows. That's why I want to bring him on tour late January. I'm got a 14-date Midwest tour getting booked right now by this company who's in North Carolina, but I want to take Reggie with me in my little Toyota Highlander.
I love it.
Have him just sleep where he can. If not, I guess I'll get a little pet hotel for him.
He's so cute. Talk a little bit about because on your on your last EP called In the Burgundy, you worked with Frenchie and Einar
I
Peterson.
did.
Yeah, you would talk a little bit about working with them, what it's like.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was the second EP I did with them. I call that it is that trifecta, Frenchie, Einar, and myself. I call this the sequel. So the first EP we did during quarantine, right when everything shut down, they're like, Scotty, what do you want to do? I was like, well, let's record and I'll drop a record during, I don't know what was going we didn't know what was going to happen. So I was like, let's just stick with the program. I'm going to release
Yeah.
I was hoping to tour. Touring didn't happen, so I released "Headed North," an EP in 2020, and it did great on the PR end because a lot of people were home, and I really hit it hard. And so this label, Mr. Pink Records, Jonas Wilson, it's an indie local label. He was like, "I love it. I love what you're doing. Record another one, and I'll put it out on my next cycle." We did immediately, and now 2 years later, my new EP in the Burgundy is out, and it's now at Waterloo. There's a window cling up that just went up yesterday, uh, and it's bigger apparently due to them messing up. And I was like, great, yeah. Switch back
Fantastic.
to I'll lie. I lied live on Fox News to people what date it was going up, and I did have friends go, and I never expected that to happen at my level, but it was fine. It worked out. They're going to come back, but it is up now, so I'm not lying to anybody. And that's in the Burgundy. It's 5 songs that we jumped into, 4 of which are some of my oldest songs that I wrote around between 2009 and 2012. I'm still getting my old catalog out into the world finally. So four
Mhm.
of those, and then one song, Reggie, I wrote during quarantine, and that
Is
was that was it.
it about that guy?
It isn't, unfortunately. I'm trying to examine a way that it is, but funny story. I could say it on here, but it was originally called marijuana because it says marijuana in it, and I thought it
Yeah.
would be cool. And when I was in there, Anar was like, "Yeah, man, but are there any other cool ways to say marijuana without having to just say it? Because it's already in the song." And then I
Hmm.
sat there and thought about it for a second. I was like, "Bro, what's your dog's name?" I was like, "Oh, Reggie, Reggie," meaning like not great marijuana of good quality. It's slang for not for weed. So Reggie slang for weed, and then I can say live, yeah, it's about my dog, but
Yeah.
secretly.
I was gonna say because
But,
when I was listening to it, it felt like it wasn't about a dog.
yeah,
Like,
no, not at all. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I wrote it during quarantine. It's that one's kind of a life story, I think. If I look at some of the lyrics and I were to break it down, it's there's some truth to the lyrics as opposed to just being poetic or dramatic, but
yeah,
hidden in there. I like to hide truth within like the
yeah,
aesthetics of what I'm talking about, so it seems dramatic. Yeah, like a lot of things are
yeah,
dramatized, but
yeah.
yeah,
And I mean, I'm sure it's cathartic too, to do that because then it's like, we're never going to really know what's poetic and what's real, but like to have something
yeah.
in there that's just like that must feel good to be able to kind of tuck it into a song and get it out there and release it a little bit.
Yeah, again, I couldn't agree more. And I didn't really think about it with that song because when I do play it and when we recorded it, I was like, this is my favorite song on the EP. I love this song. This song means so much to me, playing it, all these elements, and then later to come like to find out it's like it is good. It's fun, but I'm not playing it all the time. Her favorite song on this EP ended up being like one of my favorites to play. But I guess it's probably because this song was just I needed to get it off my chest more
Yeah.
than have it be this showpiece that I'm constantly like. No, it just kind of did what it needed to do. Like you were saying, it was more
Yeah.
cathartic at the time.
Yeah. What is your favorite song to sing of yours? That's just
Yeah.
fun or whatever criteria that is, whether it's fun to sing, easy to sing or whatever, but which song is it that's kind of your favorite?
My favorite at the moment, because I gig solo for a living, I'll play like 2 hour gigs, 2.5 hour gigs solo all the time. So there's a mix of covers and originals. So I'll give you two answers. Unfortunately, you
Yeah.
didn't ask for one. A cover. Um, uh, so there's a Frank Ocean song I do, and a Head and the Heart song, and now a Justin Bieber song. Those are my three favorite covers that I do that
Awesome.
are just so much fun and challenging. But my favorite song right now is her favorite song is Fun to Play, and it has a really powerful ending where I get to hit my falsetto if I want to, or go into a full head voice, and it has a lot of emotion if I want to dive into it. So
Mhm.
that, there's some oldies that I still play that are just really fun
Mm.
to either go on autopilot or
Right.
dig in emotionally randomly.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Do you because some musicians are kind of like, yeah, the melody is what comes easier, and maybe lyrics I collaborate a little bit. Where do you fall in that conversation? Are you kind of equal or
Yeah, the lyrics tend to purge. Like right now, I've got a brand new song, but it's all actually I do have the lyrics. Never mind, my bad. I had all the guitar parts first, and then all the lyrics fell into that.
into it?
Uh, so I write like that sometimes, where I'll let the melody just kind of fall into place of what feels right, and then I'll say phrases that'll form a story, and that'll kind of become the song, and maybe a story, or I'll come in uh, like one song on Headed North, the EP. It's the song One Sick Man. It was the first time ever that I had a song that we recorded in the studio instrumentally, but I hadn't done lyrics yet at all. Sometimes I write in the studio because we have to
Mhm.
add and or take out, but this was completely new. So I had a chance to like, well, I get to tell a story now. And I had this random thought of any port in a storm, like to just get let off that phrase, let off at any port in a storm. And it gave me the idea for what it is, where it's about sailors lost at sea a really long time ago. It gets
Mm.
spun around in a storm, and the captain goes mad, and the sickness spreads to the crew. And they claim that one of them is a witch, and they cast them below. And the song One Sick Man is told through the perspective of the accused sailor who's struggling with, am I a witch or am I not? I know I'm not in my heart, but the madness is spread. So just let me
Mm.
off in any storm. And we wrote that song to be a movie essentially. And that's one way that I write
Wow.
is like that. Because I want to get into film. So I figure if some songs I can put little movies in,
Hmm.
or filmatic, I don't know, cinematic versions of my life into these, that maybe it'll transcend into that realm and I can
Yeah.
get in. But
You seem like a guy who, if you want something, you know how to make it happen. So I feel like that's probably a reality for
just
you.
try. Try maybe. Well, yeah.
Are you a morning person or a night
Oh,
owl?
fluctuates. Not a night owl. That's I mornings are different depending, but if I honestly am in bed by 9. I'm not asleep by 9, but I'm in bed by 9. Um, yeah, if I can for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. I love being in bed. I love being
Yeah, I think
cozy.
I get my energy, I guess, from the day, like from especially if it were like 11 or noon, um, that would be my prime time
Hmm.
spiritually, I guess, to write or something like that. But that's just the way it is. Nights, I've done it, but I always kind of envied slash didn't want to ever do it the whole night. Like people that were like, man, we never sleep. We're musicians.
Mm.
We're vampires, literally never sleep and have iron stomachs, and I don't. I like to sleep so I don't get sick. I gotta take care of my tummy.
Mm.
It's just a different
Yeah.
ball game.
Yeah. How are you feeling with this time change and it being so dark? And I mean, does it like, ugh.
It's a it's a trip. I kind of like I like cold and dark, so I'm okay with that. Not that it's like dark at 6:30. It throws me off a little bit. But yeah, I think next year what I've heard is they're cutting it out, so I think that would be great. That just we just stick with one time. forever and just get used to it getting dark at a certain time and live with it.
I feel like I saw a funny meme. It was like, how much daylight are they trying to save? Because it's dark as fuck outside.
That's funny. That's funny.
I
Oh
love the
man, yeah,
internet sometimes, it's like
yeah,
it doesn't make sense to me. And it's just so, yeah. But I'm with you. I
yeah,
mean, I can wrap my head around it. I guess with the holidays, it kind of makes it feel a little bit like, oh, well, at least we have the holidays to look forward to and make it a little bit better. But
yeah. All that's all is really is it kind of pushes that nostalgia button a little closer
yeah,
to full go. But yeah, the what if I guess we fell back, whatever the move forward, I think that's easier for me. I could be wrong. Or harder. This seemed a little easier. Like it's 7:23 and I'm not passed out. Normally I'd be exhausted by now and like
yeah.
just ready for 9 o'clock.
Come on.
I can make it to 9 p.m. a little easier, but I'm cool with this going away.
Yeah, same, same. Is it true that that we Austinites have a Scott Collins Day?
Yeah, we do. We do. That's I love this.
Didn't
It's like
even
that.
realize.
Because normally I'm already self-deprecating with my like making fun of myself. But yes, yes, absolutely. I met I think I had known. I think he's the dad of someone I went to school with. I did not know that at all. But I saw him at an ATX6 event at Hole in the Wall years and years ago. I went up to him. He asked the right question. I had the right answer. So then he tweeted about me and he had given me his card. And I was like, awesome. So I just kept emailing his card, whatever it was, with updates. And then I thought about it. I was like, I have so many friends that have days in this town. And at this point, I've worked like really hard and done a lot of things. And I just emailed him, what does it take to get a day in Austin, Texas? And I got an email back. Well, you'd have to play in front of city council and city hall and all that. And I thought it would be like a judging, like I'd play in front of them and then they would decide, like America's Got or Austin's Got Talent. And so I went in, or they were like, I was like, I'm available for January 31st, 2019, and to come in and let's do this. The next email came back like, congratulations, the mayor now declares this as your day. You will play in front of City Hall on this day. And so it just happened through an email, but but I gigged a lot first.
That's insane. It's just 2 days after my birthday. I will remember it now because
No way.
yeah,
I'm the
I'm
28th.
January. I'm the
Yep.
29th, baby.
28. Wow.
I feel like
I
it
was
makes
looking for something to cover between the 28th and 31st.
perfect. Fellow Aquarian.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Aren't we so fun? Aquarius.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. That's what people tell me. It's not like inside. It's to get those voices inside to reflect what it comes from outside. But yeah. And having to fake it. It's like, oh, I'm having so much fun, but really, I just want to be in bed. It's 9:07.
Every time I meet a fellow Aquarian, we're like, aren't we so cool and fun? And we high five ourselves.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's so
wonderful.
funny. You don't just have a studio and you don't just play music, but you do other things too. Talk a little bit about some of your philanthropic and your volunteering and mentoring and things like that that you do. I love how involved you are with Ham and Sims and then what is this that you do with kiddos?
Well, yeah, I need to get back into that. They had a bunch of changes within the company itself, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on, and I'm sure they're still operating. But Kids in a New Groove is this amazing program, and along with Ham and Sims,
Mhm.
um, yeah, all of them. I love to be able to donate whatever I can time wise to all those places. My grandfather, one of them before he passed, was like, do music, Scotty, but do good with it. That kind of ties into when I lived my dream. It was like, I lived my dream, so let's just do good with it now. And so, yeah, the first opportunity came around to sign up with them. I did. And I had I started at 7 through 10, so I guess it was 3 years that me and my little kiddo worked on guitar and piano. I didn't know how to teach an instrument. I mean, I know how to. Luckily, he was young enough that he didn't want to be uh, an aficionado. He just wanted to rock out, and it
Hmm.
was one of the most memorable experiences. I've worked with kids before at Helping Hands Home in Austin when I was younger, and just growing up. It was built into my family to be philanthropic, and just luckily and thankfully, because now everything I do, I love to think about what I can do with it besides survive and make some tips for Reggie. But other than that, do stuff with it. And kids in a groove and being able to volunteer for all the gig, like ham and all that. I get to go to my friends' gigs and help out. It's actually kind of a plus plus. You get
Yeah.
in for free. Is what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
That's awesome. What else do you have going on? What shows do you have? What do you have cooking?
I'm playing Austin a lot still. I have a lot of solo shows, but it's not, I mean, it is promotable, but like I'm playing the airport. I've got the Opal Divines gig in December on the 15th. I do have a full band, and we have played some great shows. The EP release of In the Burgundy was wonderful at a Home Away from Home, the Saxon Pub. The
Mhm.
main thing I'm focusing on right now is I'd love to get gigs booked for the full band if that's possible. But January 16th, late January, I'm going on a 14 date Midwest tour that's getting booked right now by Happy Nomad Booking. And that is my big focus, is just keeping up with the Google Doc for all the gigs that are confirmed so that I can reach out to radio, podcasts, and stuff like this in all those cities and get into those communities as well, as just instead of just playing a gig through each town.
Yeah.
So that takes a lot of work, and I have emails sent out to Austin, but right now it's while I'm working on that, it's I'll just wait for gigs to come in.
Yeah.
And luckily, thankfully, gratefully, as a songwriter, they do. I'll just randomly get hit up to come in for some great, wonderful acoustic bring your own PA thing. They're all memorable.
Yeah. This is such a great town. I think you're in the right spot, for what you do. Do you
Music's
ever,
everywhere. It's wonderful that they do that in this town, that you literally make it where you can make a living off of
yeah, do you ever see yourself leaving Austin, or do you feel like this is it? This is home?
it. I don't know about living, but I do want to tour constantly, and I want to use my acoustic guitar as a ticket to see the planet. I want to see the sky. I have a life bucket list goal of seeing the sky in every part of the world possible and get to know their cultures and grow as a human and just kind of evolve and be a journalist and a storyteller. And as a lifer in music, a dedicated lifer, I'm that's what I want to do, is just tell the stories and see everything. So I may live in Austin, but I plan on hopefully touring constantly and bringing my loved ones. Right now, Reggie and as families grow, do that as well. Have If I have kids, that'd be wonderful. Have a world education.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anywhere else I would live at the
Right.
moment. A lot of places I could visit, tour, hang out for a while, but live pretty comfortable right
Yeah.
now.
I think you can do really well just like busking on the street, go to Europe or go wherever. And I think actually you can do really, really well. I was
Oh,
talking to
well,
Miles Zuniga, you know,
yeah,
whatever, year two ago, whatever. And I just remember him being like, I could probably just go head over to Europe and like just busk and survive and do just fine. So
yeah,
that
yeah,
must be kind of a comforting thing too, especially if you don't have kids or a family, that you have the mobility to be able to do that. I mean, I'm not even a musician and that sounds really attractive to me.
yeah. That's always been one of my favorite things. I'm covered in tattoos, and I think it's because just my whole life I've just wanted everything on me. I didn't really want possessions, but my this this
Mm.
dream that's come true is being able to just like I call it my apocalypse plan, so that if the world ends, that's fine. I'll just travel from town to town with my guitar and entertain people and try to survive, and then go down and so I'll just a little minstrel. And so yeah, it's like
I love
I
that.
feel like yeah, the idea of being able to just take a guitar anywhere, and
Mhm.
that's my existence, and that's what I can offer. If it were some kind of Zen thing, some Buddhist thing, like yeah, I'm content with just
Mm.
putting my stickers on my suitcase and playing
Mm.
music. It's humbling for sure. It's
Yeah.
hard as hell, but it's humbling to at its core.
What's hard about it?
Oh man, making money, believing in yourself constantly, keeping people in your life, uh, drugs and alcohol, loneliness. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that comes with it that's tough. Touring, being a musician, um, but like I said, at its core, it's too good to ever have the cup be half empty. It's, in my opinion, it's always half full.
Yeah. How do you stay healthy in your head and your heart and your body? And what are some disciplines that you use to kind of stay, ahead of all of that stuff that is hard? I mean, life is fucking hard, right? So like no matter
Yeah.
what you
Oh
do,
yeah.
so we all, I mean, it's valuable to hear what disciplines people have and what things kind of make things a little bit easier. I think that's valuable for people to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in therapy every Tuesday. I've had the same counselor forever, been in therapy most of my life, but finally found one that worked. A wonderful relationship. Um, I'm finally off like a lot of meds, but I take what I need to, and then I get sleep. I make sure like I'm okay going to bed. I know that I need sleep or I'll get sick, and it will mess with me. And then I'm finally eating better, trying to eat better. The main thing that really got all those things are tackleable. The main thing in my life that was always in my way, would always be in my way, no matter what, is alcohol. So I quit alcohol 7 years ago, and uh, and now off hard drugs or anything else except for medicating with marijuana over a year or two now. But yeah, about 7 8 years sobriety has been the main thing that saved my life and allowed me to be able to take care of myself and run when I feel like it once a 1 month every year. But anyway, yeah, I take care of myself a little bit.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. That's no small thing. All those
Thanks. Yeah,
things
that
are
was
really big things. And thank you for sharing those. Might be kind of personal, but I really appreciate it because I'm a huge fan of therapy. I feel like, yeah, it's I'm not in regular therapy anymore, but that's just recent. But I will say there's definitely been times in my life where it was like, yeah, pretty life-saving and really keeping me in check and really, yeah, just keeping me in check. And I feel like it would be good for everybody to do that, not in a judgmental way, but just to have that support and to have it weekly and just have that advocate that knows you and grows to know you in your heart and what you tend to do. And it
Oh yeah,
helps me understand what I tend to do, and maybe I don't want to do those or shouldn't do those things anymore, so it's just I'm such a big fan of therapy is my
right
point.
on. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
I echo that. Yeah, and like basically people really focusing on their self care and doing what's right for them, listening to their
Yes.
gut. Um,
Yes.
yeah, all of it. I'm glad like it is harder to talk about, but it's getting easier to talk about because we are more open about it. I love that.
Yes.
I've always been an open book. And now that we can talk about it, it's like great because you never like obviously someone's going to hear something and be like, I've never wanted to take pills, but Scott Collins takes Lexapro, even though I'm against like I could probably sue, I won't, but I got over medicated and misdiagnosed when I was young, and I got tardive dyskinesia from it, my fingers and my toes, and then my neck
Oh,
locked. Like I took a psychologist in Dallas while I was in grad school and still drinking and using to see like I was clearly killing myself. My neck had locked
oh,
for like 2 months, and the only thing, yeah, so I'm walking around like this, embarrassed as hell,
wow.
and the only thing that would fix it was alcohol. That's the only thing that would loosen my neck up, or I thought. And I wasn't actually, I was taking tons of pills. But anyway, um, so I went through a point in life of like F pills, like doctors are
Right.
wrong. And now I've come to this really healthy understanding of, unfortunately, they're now releasing healthier things like psilocybin and ketamine. Those things are great from studies that I've read or seen that help the human brain versus all the shit that I now take, which is like
Mm,
Lexapro, which are synthesized drugs. So my brain is forming new pathways and it's working better. My depression is a little more handleable, as if I weren't taking it. But
mhm.
so yeah, I'm open to discussions like with people if they're I'm against this, but I'm open to that. It's like, wait, like let's have a discussion about both because as long as you're taking care of yourself, we might be wrong about one thing for ourselves versus the other, being told something by a doctor where they might be wrong.
Right, because that's why I mean it touches on just a bigger thing, and again,
For
thank you
sure.
for sharing. It's like we all have an opinion because we've had an experience, but
Oh
that's
yeah.
such a myopic. It's just such
Yeah.
it's such a one little tiny teeny slice of the 360 degrees of the pie. So it's such a better use of time, and it's just what a learning experience to be able to sit and talk and learn where you're coming from, you, Scott Collins, because of what you've been through and what you've experienced. There's no reason to have anything other than just a conversation, right? Like,
Absolutely. Because then you
yes,
can sense trauma in others that might be
yeah,
kind of like your trauma and not and just be there for them a little bit more. Know
yes.
how to be more of a yeah instead of I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, you get it. Like
Oh
you
yeah,
learn
I
and then
totally
you
get it.
learn
I
that
just
in that learning you become a teacher and that helps others, not by like teaching them, but just by your actions.
yeah, and being honest and open about what your experience is, and
Right.
I love all that, and I agree with you. I think I do feel really happy that it's something that seems to be changing in our societal sort of contract with each other. We're opening that up a lot more than we ever have, talking about mental health, just normalizing this human experience that we're all going through. And it's hard. Even if
Yeah.
you look like, I look at you stand up on a stage and you make everything look so easy and your voice is so pretty and you're so talented and all of that. I really, really mean that. And it's really easy to think, wow, Scott's got it all together, no problems over there, right? I mean, that's what we do. We kind of so
Yeah, it's
it's
wild
just
to
so great to be able to pull back the curtain and be like, yeah, I mean, so have a seat,
um,
buckle up. I'll tell you what life is like because we all have that. And I just think it's such a missed opportunity to really connect with your fellow human being, whoever's sitting in front of you, to, to you know to miss out on that vulnerability. So not only are you giving that to us when every time you step up to that microphone, but you're giving it to us now. And I just think that people like you are so special and so gifted in multiple ways. And so that's really truly the foundation of why I do the show, is to have
oh wow.
conversations like this. And so I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. I appreciate you in this
well,
forum because
I'm
that's
just
yeah,
holding up the megaphone, for you guys, and creating that platform for you. But it's you guys that are shining.
yeah, normally I'm just talking about how One Sick Man was written about witches and sailors, but no, I like talking about yeah, real stuff. Like, oh yeah, so I play shows, but this is what yeah, what I go through. That'd be
Yeah.
yeah.
It's important stuff, because I have to think when you're in the quiet of your own space and you're writing, this is the pool that you're dipping from, this is who you are.
Yeah,
I sure hope this, I think some people write and it's real, maybe not as deep, but I know that music that I appreciate the most is usually comes from some pretty deep parts of the pool. Why? Because it makes
yeah,
me feel like, oh, okay, I know that. I felt that. It makes me connect, and that's what I want when I listen to music. I don't want to just tap my toe. I want to hear what you're saying and I want to feel what you're saying. And I do
yeah.
that with you. And so I just, you know, to button it up, I appreciate that.
Wow, thank you so much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Just telling the truth.
Um,
Well, let's see what else. Oh, I was going to tell you, I was obviously listening to you. And, every once in a while when I hear people's voices and whatever, I'm just like, oh, that reminds me of whoever reminds me. Have you ever I get two really different people, singers that come up for me when I listen to your voice. And I don't know if you've ever been told. So Jackson Brown, have you ever been told that you kind of sound like Jackson?
wow. No,
Okay, so
I
like
haven't gotten that one yet. No.
just this like tone. It's not just like him, but it immediately made me think of Jackson Brown. And then there was another one where if it was so Morrissey.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow. See, I love this because it's so rare actually when it happens. Many people just don't talk about it or come up at a show and want to say anything. So I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
one of those, like, still working on my self-esteem and life with some trauma and abuse and dissociation that, like, I know what it feels like when I'm performing and I can hear the monitors that this sounds good, that there's no blips.
Right.
Everything's in tune. But other than that, it's like so
Yeah.
I don't know what my voice sounds like if I were to have the ability to sit back and listen to one of my songs. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like anything else but my annoying voice until I then focus on hitting the, like, oh, I hit the notes right or the tone correctly in this. I have a
Right.
record player. That's why I'm just pointing over there like crazy. Um, but yeah,
No, I'm
so
glad you
it's
like it
so
because some
tricky
people,
when someone's like, "Oh, you sound like this." Yeah, oh wow, I get to go listen to that person and compare because I do not know.
yeah,
I don't know what I sound like.
your voice is very it's very it gives on each song. It just feels like it gives. I mean, it always sounds like you. It's not like you're departing from who you are,
Yeah,
but like you're just giving like, ooh, here's another side of me, and ooh, here, how about this side? It just felt like, I mean, Jackson Brown to Morrissey. Like
yeah,
when have I ever when have two like that just feels very
yeah,
different. You know what I mean? So I felt like it was worth sharing with you, even though maybe if you don't tend to like it when people do that. But I was just like, I love it when I listen to someone and I, another voice, comes up for me and just like reminds me. I love that because it's just, it gives me that little bit of familiarity, but I'm also still really interested in what you're doing and where you're gonna go next, on the next song. So anyway, I thought I would share
yeah.
that with you. But
That's
lovely,
awesome.
lovely voice. So
Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really inspirational. Well, just because I am not interested in just doing one type of thing.
yeah,
I'm still finding the true me, but I'm
yeah,
getting closer.
yeah,
But I have so many interests that, yeah, luckily musically, a lot of them have come out in my growth of eight, uh, I guess EPs that I've
yeah,
released over the years.
yeah.
But
What
yeah,
a fun thing
crazy.
for you to do. You ever look back and just have a moment and go like, wow, like I could line up all my EPs and just be like, I mean, it's like a time capsule in a way of just watching your growth and listening to your growth, who you are.
Yeah, that's why I haven't taken them down. I've had recommendations to take them down, like start with where my best stuff is and go, best stuff is and go, or newest and move forward. And it's like, no, because like my first, I have a running joke, but I mean it in sincerity. My first EP, the music is wonderful. Everything is great. It was done with this guy who's now just kill all these artists who are just doing really way beyond successful. And but I sound like a goat getting kicked in the butt. Like my voice sounds weird. And that CD's still out there. It's the blue one, the self-titled Scott Collins with
2011.
a monkey on the front. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I sound really weird, but that was this time in my life where these songs were the most pure and raw, where I just got in music, so everything was purging out that I had been holding in my entire life up till this point. Like songs just coming out. And so there, it's wonderful to look at it, and then it's what I tell people is it's a perfect way to see if you want to take your career seriously. Like I got voice lessons, I did this. You can see where things changed, not so much the
Right.
songwriting, but you can see where the voice smoothed out and got better, and I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. Anyway, yeah, so it's, I don't want to hide any of that, just like I don't want to hide anything else about my life. And we'll tell all the stories when it's time, in control of my own narrative. But
Yeah.
yeah, song wise,
I
the
love
growth,
that.
having it out there forever, I don't I
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. It reminds me of tree rings, you know,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
cool.
that's a good idea. Ooh, that's a good idea.
Ooh. Write a
Yeah,
song
ooh,
about
that's
tree
actually a
rings,
good. I
please.
know. Yeah, like yeah, no, that's that's got legs. That's
Yeah.
got legs.
Well, we'll see what you do with it. Awesome. Well, where can people find out what you are up to? Your website, or are you more like social media? What's your kind of go-to keep your fans apprised of your shows and stuff?
Yeah, I do have a website, and it's, most of the things that you need are there, but it'll direct you. So I like, my Instagram is what I tell people right
Mhm.
now, is that has, you can see where I'm at, what's coming up.
Mm.
Um, Pictures of my dog, videos of my dog. It's amazing. Yeah, so Instagram, Facebook, I'm always updating, keeping things up to date of gigs and when they're happening. And then my website is a one-stop shop for all of that, but definitely social. Scott Collins Project
Mhm.
is my website and Instagram. Um, Twitter gets confusing, but you can find me. I tell people, like, it's not to make it too easy on myself, easier on you. If you just Google Scott Collins Austin or Scott Collins music, everything pops up, from YouTube to website to Instagram.
Yeah,
So Google's a good tool, but
I
I
love
have
it.
all the things.
I love it. Yes, you sure do. You do have all the things. You have talent and vulnerability and just so much depth and such a future. I can't wait to see what you continue to do and maybe what comes next for you. It's very exciting to me. And I thank you so much for coming on and spending a little bit of
Oh,
time with
thank you.
us.
Thank you so much. This is
Hmm.
wonderful.
You're so welcome. Well, I look forward to seeing you maybe in December at Opal Defines. I'll try to get there, and I'll definitely
Cool.
make sure that viewers hear about it as well. And until then, give that dog a hug. And
Yeah. Reggie,
yeah,
Wiggle, Wiggles. Are you that asleep?
he's
Are you
like
that asleep? Did you
the
yes,
time
come
change.
here.
It's
Come
9 o'clock with the
here.
time change.
Yeah, yeah, he could not care less. He is 100% asleep.
I love that. I love that about him.
Yeah, normally would. No, but he's a little sleepy Gus.
Aw.
Yeah, he's snuggle bud.
The best. Awesome. Will you take care? And I will see you soon, I'm sure. And
Thank
thanks
you so
again.
much.
All right. We'll see you
Absolutely.
next time. All right. We'll see you
Bye.
guys next time. Bye.